Hello, welcome to the Angel Museum. I'd like to point out our map here with the pins. This shows where our visitors have come from all over the world to see the Angel Museum. And if you'll step in now, I'd like to mention that this is the former St. Paul Catholic Church, and we have the original round stained glass windows and the lantern lights. The mural that you see was painted for the Angel Museum, and it is called the Heritage Angels. So if you'll step over here, we'll start a little tour. Okay, I would like to show you the beginning of the Berg Angel collection. Officially, number 1 and number 2 in the collection are the 2 cherubs on the seesaw and the German Dresden back here with the bird. Now, the 2 cherubs on the seesaw is an Italian bisque, and it's a registered piece. The artist is Bonnaccio. And the Dresden is just the German Dresden. So those are number 1 and number 2 in the collection. We purchased those in 1976. Now, those are what are actually numbered, but actually in 1954, the first Christmas that we were married, my parents happened to give us these 2 little angels because my mom saw them at Carson Perry Scott and thought they were cute. So, as you can see, once we started collecting, we found it was a set of 6. And we were able to find those different places and add them to our collection. So that's kind of what I call the official beginning and the unofficial beginning. Also in the unofficial beginning are these 3 little pieces. There was a box from my grandmother, and we were going through that, and here is my grandmother's belt buckle with 2 cherubs on it, and my great-grandmother's button with 2 little cherubs, and my grandfather's World War I commemorative medal. It has the Angel of Peace on the top of it, and on the back the dates for the war starting and ending and so on and so forth. So the Berg Angel collection, the beginning and the official and unofficial beginning, are placed in this case of angels made in Italy to bring our collection into the Italian heritage of this former church. So now we're going to step around the corner, and we're going to go to Japan after the war. The Japanese did a lot of porcelain work, and they did a lot of painting. And as you can see, they painted a lot of angels. So there's all kinds. And you will find that there are no duplicates in our collection. Now, there's maybe a band, and they have different instruments, or maybe they have different clothing or so forth, but they're different in some way. I like to call attention to this little group here. We have the same mold, but done in a glazed finish and in an unglazed finish, a bisque finish. So I figured they got more bang for their bucks when they did the mold. I'd like to point out the top shelf here, the top riser. We have a baseball team. We also have a little group of majorette band here. And we're going to step around again. A lot of these are from the Schmid Company, but right down here on the bottom, I have several of the angels that have come from Hawaii. There's some with the macadamia nuts and shells and so on and so forth. And then we'll also kind of look at this here. This is the case of Hallmark angels. These are all angels from the Hallmark Company. Now, back to Japan in the 50s. Those were various companies that we just saw. These are specific companies. We have Yukago, an A fine quality, Napco. You'll notice here we have the little group of sportsmen, the fishermen, the football, baseball. We have the doctor and the nurse. We have the redheads and their pets, the redheads and instruments, and the redheads on their heads. A lot of filigree, which is the bottom of their skirt there. We feel that this was one of the first companies, perhaps, because they're so different and well done. They have different wing shapes and so on and so forth. Then we have over here the NAPCO collection. I love these little girls. They're doing little girl things. They're talking on the telephone, they're knitting, they're wiping dishes, they're doing the watering their flowers. And of course the gentlemen are out playing golf and bowling. Love this little bellhop here. Now, there was one thing that I've never been able to find out, is they made, several of the companies made angel-devil combinations and different kinds. Down here they have bigger ones even. And they're even jitterbugging here, the angel and the devil. I've never been able to find out why they did that, but several of their companies have those. Okay, we'll come around and we're going to have angels on the top shelf from the Roman company, not the Santo, but others. This is a little series called Marshmallow Angels. Not that they're made of marshmallows, but they are white dresses, and each has a little red tennis shoe peeking out underneath. So then these are UNESCO. And UNESCO also makes the precious moments. So here in front of the UNESCO, I have placed our smallest angel. So she's sort of visible because of the size. She's only that tall, folks. Then I call the bottom shelf our Wisconsin shelf, because we have this little grouping here are from the Lang Company, who have their offices in Delafield, Wisconsin. The little angel nurse here was made by a lady in Sun Prairie. The two retired elderly gentlemen angels here are by David Freichman, and the angels all across the back are Pipka Olvaden's Earth Angels, and both of them have their studios in Door County. So, of course, we have to have the cheeseheads. We laugh. And we have the turtle that represents Beloit. So we have Turtle Creek that meanders around, and they have turtle effigy mounds up at the college, and our semi-pro baseball team are the Snappers. The glazed angels here were made in Madison at the Ceramic Art Studio run by Betty Harrington in the early 50s. So that's why we call all of those our Wisconsin shelf. Now we're going to move over to this place over here. Case 9 here are primarily bands and music boxes. So you'll see on the top we have a angel band, and I get a big bang out of this band because I don't think I've ever seen an angel with a bongo drum before. So that's up there. Here is this music box, German music box, that my husband gave to me when we became grandparents for the first time. You'll see the little angels and the little cradle, and then when the music box plays, they go around. On this shelf, the organ is the music box, and we gathered the musicians to go with that. And there are 11 white dots on each of those wings because the artist thought that that was what looked just right. Okay, over here we have the set from Joseph Company of angels from birth, 1, 2, 3, and initially they made them through 16. They were done very nicely. Then they were acquired by a different company, and the quality wasn't there. They went on and made up through 21, but I only purchased those 2 because the quality wasn't there. These were also a fine quality. Early California potteries here. We have a Norman Rockwell angel. You'll notice he had a little altercation before he got to the pageant. So, and then if you've ever been to Tucson, Arizona, there is an artist there called DeGrazia, and he has done these. He was very well known for doing Indian children and so forth. So these are some of his figurines in this area. And then we have Native American pottery. Some of it is made to look like Native American pottery, and some of it actually is Indian done. The little figure here with the turned down wings was done by an 11-year-old Navajo boy whose mother was a well-known Indian artist. Probably by now he's a well-known Indian artist. So we'll step around, and on the top 2 shelves we will go to occupied Japan. So something about the timing, the first parts of them doing angels were always with shells. So you'll see that several of them there have different kinds of shells. These I call the pinkies. You can see why. And the little ones here by Yana, Y-O-N-A, have the little messages on them. Do your homework. Obey your mother and father. Love your country. Be kind to animals. And of course, hear no evil, see no evil, etc. Then, down here, we have a triple wedding. We have 3 sets of brides and grooms. The ones on the riser are what we call Hummel lookalikes. The Hummels are made in Germany, and they look something like this, but this was Japan imitating the Hummels, and so that's what they called. There was a certain period in time when they did this, and they called them Hummel lookalikes. And of course they were a lot cheaper and everything. Then on the bottom there is an angel for every occasion. Happy anniversary, happy birthday, Mother's Day, Father's Day, bon voyage, welcome to the new baby, all kinds. This particular case is all by the Lefton Company. It probably was one of the first companies after the war and most well known. The way I've arranged them here is the older ones are on the top, and then they work their way down. These were, of course, you can see a difference. These were later. I also would like to call your attention to the fact that early on, when the Japanese painted the little figurines, they sort of had the Asian look to the eyes, and probably making them in their own likeness at that time. So, and then this Christmas area down here. So we'll come around the corner again. We have a little variety here, and I think this is very cute again. The little girl's primping with her compact and talking on her telephone. As you can see, we had a certain amount of blue and white, so I said, we'll make a blue and white shelf of angels. I love the little girls here with their little muffs and their ear muffs and their little mittens. We have a Hawaiian couple here. And then in this case, we have on the top shelf are all kissing angels. These two shelves are bells. This shelf, you'll notice, are some angels on shoes or booties. And then angels are animals too. So we have all kinds of animals. An angelfish. Holy cow! Then we have Donald and Scooby-Doo and Snoopy, and there's even a skunk down here on the bottom. So, and then I had a group of ladies just last week, and they got such a kick out of the pink elephants. All right, these two cases are on the top shelf. We have vases and planters. The rest of this shelf, or this case rather, are candle holders, candle climbers of different kinds, and across the back, a whole row of actual candle angels. Then these two shelves are what we call our useful angels. Now, in the Guinness book where we were recognized for our collection, it said they have X number of angels, even an angel smoke alarm. This is the angel smoke alarm. You turn it upside down, there's room for a 9-volt battery, and that's an angel smoke alarm. So then we have napkin holders, and we have cookie molds and presses and candy molds, and a trivet with angels. This is an angel pie whistle. Years ago they used to have what they called pie birds that they put in the fruit pies. Well, this is an angel that did the same thing. Then I have to tell you the story of this. After my husband passed away, and his sister and I one time were at an antique mall, and I'm walking along, and I say, Janet, that's an angel cigarette lighter. Couldn't believe it. I had to have it. I never saw an angel cigarette lighter. So the coppery thing is an angel cigarette lighter. Then we have coasters, and we have bookends, and we have glasses, and then we have the toothbrush holder and a little set for lipstick, soap dish with the soap, and the powder dish up above, and then the little gal with all her little sparkles. The lid comes off, and the bottom is a little dish. I think probably maybe it was a rosary holder. And then these little guys here on the end, you turn them over, and they're pencil sharpeners. Then, of course, we have the salt and pepper shakers and some cups, and our tipsy angels down here in the corner. Now, my husband used to always say, if you see something that you know that you want, you buy it then, because you may not ever see it again. And this is an example of that, when we purchased those and we never saw them again. But they're quite interesting. They've been imbibing, and they hold their little different liquor. Okay, now these 4 cases, as you walk around, are angels of the month, or birthday angels, some people called them. They were primarily from the 1950s. I know people come and they say, oh, I used to always get one for my birthday, or something like that. And that's what they were. A lot of them were given for births and birthdays and so on and so forth. but there are well over 100 different series of them. So if I have all of the whole series, all 12 months, you'll find them on the top shelves as you walk around and on the bottom shelves. If I just have 1 through 11, they are in their months, and you have 3 months in each case. So here we have January, February, and March. And I don't have, this shows some different examples of what they have. Like the two ends on the riser are Angels of the Month music boxes. In between are planters. There's other things here that are, these are planters. The taller ones here are paper mache, and they're banks. There's a place to put your money in the back. And then the other ones are plaques to hang on the wall that are Angels of the Month. So and then they made cups. They made, again, maybe the little rosary dish. They made these little basket vases. And there's just one set of little black angels. And I have every one except June. I've never been able to find that one. So we can sort of go here and look on the side wall. These are all Days of the Week angels, which are all, again, from the 50s, except for this set here from Roman, more recently done, which very well gives us the little verse that goes, on Monday we do laundry, on Tuesday we iron, Wednesday we mend, Thursday we bake, Friday we shop, Saturday we clean, and Sunday we rest. Now we do also have planters here, and the planters have the verse that goes, Monday's child is fair of face, Tuesday's child is full of grace, etc., etc. Then we have these two that have the whole week in one little figure. You turn the skirt and the day of the week comes up. And this one is in English, and this one is in French. So we will also, as here again, you can see the complete collections, and then April, May, June, and then some completed ones. Then we have more completed sets, but on the top here, we have countries. We have the smaller country set here. I mean, not small in quantity, but the small in size. Then we have this little bigger group here, which I think my husband just loved, the little angel with the beer mug from Germany. Unusual also to this set was the fact that they had England and Canada represented. I've never seen those represented. And Israel. Now, these were from the 50s, so I think that was very, very unusual. Then the rest of this case are horoscope angels. So we have angels of the month, angels of the days of the week, and horoscope angels, and angels of countries. So there's a lot of things that were included. And here again, as we come and walk around, the completed sets, July, August, September, and around again. And we have completed sets, October, November, December. The interesting thing about the little black set of angels is some of the things that they're holding to represent the month are wrong, which you can very obviously see here in November. They have a mask for October. October has a book for September. Some of those were wrong, and we felt, well, they didn't know probably our little verse that goes along with that and what matches what month. Okay, now these rail cases is what I call this, because this, of course, you can see the elevated area here that was for the church. These are from Japan primarily. Christmas maybe made things or different kinds of things from the 40s and the 50s. Let's see, I think someplace here we have our, no, they're in the next case. Sorry about that. We have, these are made of cork. Someone took a tool and shaped them into angels, but and then painted them, but they are made of cork. So that's kind of unusual. And then there's some pasta ones here too. They're made of different kinds of pasta. So these are kind of, like I say, Japan, Taiwan, and so forth. Then we'll go over to the other side here, and we have two more rail cases. And this case is primarily German. Now we have older pieces here from older times, and then we have the Erzgebirge angels here, wooden cottage industry angels, and then the ones in here are from Italy. And they also had the cottage industry, lots of little tiny wooden angels and hand painted and so on and so forth. And maybe this is a good place also to call your attention to our grottos. The grottos were not original to the building. They were put in the 30s. So they do make a very nice place for displaying when we have our different exhibits and so on and so forth. Then these cases here are what we call our memorial cases. And these are angels that have been given in memory of loved ones from people from all over. I do like to point out this one is quite interesting. This was in memory of a local police officer that we had that was shot in line of duty and passed away several years after that. This is also in memory of a police dog. It was not his police dog, but this is in memory of a police dog. So there's all kinds of angels here that have come from people that are, well, they're all listed here, even on the side of the case. Okay, now we're going to go to Germany. This case, they're all made in Germany. The band on the top riser we purchased in Florida one time at an antique store, and they are made in the 1920s. And you'll notice there's all the different instruments, and their garb are all different colors. But here we have one that's from the same mold types, and it's only done in gold. So again, they got more bang for their for their molds. They made them differently. This is, as far as we know, our oldest angel here. This is from circa 1860s, KPM pottery, the angel with the cornucopia. I personally think this is really cute here with her little ermine muff. And we have these blue angel musicians here. My husband sat at an auction one day almost 4 hours to wait for those to come up. One of the wings was broken, so we were able to see that it was actually made of blue clay, which is very, very extraordinary. So those are blue clay inside of that. And those are Dresden, mostly Dresden, angels that were made in Dresden, Germany. We have what we call on the back shelf there, our smoker. Do you know what a smoker is? Well, the little skirt part comes off, and there's a little platform in there with a little metal on it, and you put your incense in there. Put the dress back on, and the smoke comes out. The fragrant smoke comes out of the mouth. And then on the bottom, in the middle there, we have an angel nutcracker. So also, this is a piece of Meissen porcelain. This is called Father Time and the Four Seasons. We purchased that at a big auction one time in Milwaukee. The Marquette professor had passed away in her 50s, and they had a 4-day auction, and she had numerous pieces of this Meissen porcelain that were just beautiful. We had our eyes on one called The Angel Studying the Stars, but every time we bid, somebody behind us bid and kept going, and we finally had to drop out. So we did get a better deal here for, for this one, but it wasn't the one that we had hoped we'd get. And ironically, it turned out that she was a dealer from Milwaukee, and in our travels and going to these different antique malls and sales, we ran into that, the Angel Studying the Stars, and she still had it for several years, but it wasn't us that had it. So this case are all from the Goebel Company, which was a German company. The angels that are white or cream were made specifically to be sold in religious stores in America. They were called Sacart, S-A-C-A-R-T. Then we have the Goebel Company makes the Hummels. So these, in the front of this shelf, these are all Hummel angels. And Sister Maria Innocentia did the paintings, and then they made the figurines from her paintings. Then they also started a series way back in the 70s, 80s, I think it was, of these little angels. Every year. Then they changed the style and made them smaller, and they were more expensive. So we went along, and you know, it was just the thing that they were holding that was different. So finally, after 30 years, they made the 30th like the first year, and I said, we're not going to collect those anymore. But I believe, as far as I know, they still make those. So, but they're very fun too. A whole case full of Goebels. So we're going to walk around. And this is where I get to do my little, and then you have to look in there. Oh. We have two little bobbleheads. Now I don't think you see too many little angel bobbleheads anyplace, so those are really different. We have this little box here that was painted in Turkey. We have pine cones. We have cotton bowls. We have feathers. We have straw from Sweden. This is sort of a paper mache. So I kind of think of this case as different materials that they have made them from. Then we have some tree toppers. You'll notice the one with the red dress on the top riser with the dark face. That is a dried applehead doll. Back in the 60s, I think, it was a craft that people like to do, is they made dried applehead dolls. So, and then on the very top in the corner are two angels made of drinking straws. Then we have These little angels here with wax heads, those are all made in Germany. The wax head doll, that's little angels. And this particular angel was made in the 1920s. We also have a Madame Alexander doll. And then we have an angel made in Alaska of sealskin. And this is a clothespin inside. And then we have a couple of little ones from Sweden. These are all cloth, done with cloth and so forth. Then we go down to the next two shelves, and we have our hand-carved, primarily from Germany, Italy, Switzerland, Russia. We also have an ivory carved angel. And on the bottom here, the ones from Russia are the green, pink, turquoise green, and the white. Those are all hand carved in Russia. And we have a Matryoshka set, the nesting dolls. There's all different kinds of olive wood, too. These little two were made hand carved at a craft school in Georgia. So there's all kinds of things. And when these are the more of the memorial cases. This particular case happens to be memorials for the Angel Collectors Club, of which I am a member. And so those are all from those passing. And we come around the corner and we go to some handcrafted angels on the top two shelves. And I'd like to tell people that some people can paint eyes and some people can't. So you'll see all kinds of different eye paintings and so on and so forth up there in that grouping. Then we have here on the front, this one is made of metal, and it's worked with the metal and pierced and so forth. This is Mount St. Helen ash. This is cut construction paper. This is made of coal. This one is safety pins and beads. We have a chia pet in the back there. And then we have the little biscuit tin. And this is a tin can lid. This is a lily upside down that someone has turned and made into an angel. And then I kind of like this little set here. Each one has an M-E-M on the bottom for the artist. We found them primarily in Midwest, actually even in mid-Illinois. Never have been able to find out who that artist was. So there's always something to find out. Then we have, down here we have some of our pewter. We have the Smurfs. We have Pac-Man, Alvin, and a Lego angel that my grandson gave me when he was 6. He was so excited. Grandma, I found a Lego angel to give you. So that was great. We have Sally, and we have the Cabbage Patch Kids there. We have some gold wire from Mexico, copper, some different metals. Then we have over here some angels from France, represent France. In this Alsace-Lorraine area of France, they believed angels brought gifts on Christmas Eve. So that represents her. Then we have, I happen to have almost this whole set of these little tender heart angels. And then these are some of our other miniatures in these two little cases. And the little one that you see in the center there, that's a tree topper for a dollhouse Christmas tree. And then on the second shelf, to the left, there's a flat, dull silver, and that's a cookie cutter for a dollhouse. And this is something that really intrigues me. You know, this is, to me, sort of silly, a Santa dressed with wings, but I get umpteen comments on people, oh, look at that. So you never know what's going to strike somebody as something interesting. Okay, folks, we're getting towards the end here, and we're going to Europe. And we have two shelves of Yadro angels. I remember my husband got this for us one time for me for our anniversary gift. And so then on this shelf, we have angels here made in England. These are English. The little round one is a candy container from the First World War. It comes apart, and it was candy container. That's what they called it. Then from here to here, these were made in France. And this is what you call a French biscuit basket. We bought that at an antique store one time, and there was a set of 8. Well, I didn't want to have 8. I wanted to have 1 as an example. And I said to my husband, do you suppose she'll sell 1? And so he says, well, you can try. And I explained to her that we were collectors, and oh, sure, she says, I'll sell you 1. So, and I don't know what kind of a biscuit, but it had to be mighty small that was going to fit in that. But anyhow, the rest of these are made in Ireland. And this is what you call Irish Dresden. After the war, the Mueller family went to Ireland and found the same soil conditions that they had in Germany, because in Dresden and Meissen and all those towns, their porcelain factories, of course, were bombed and they weren't able to do them. So they started making their Dresden in Ireland. So that's why we call them Irish Dresden. Then we have the wooden one here that's made in Poland. This is made in Romania. The two pinky ones are made in Hungary. Lithuania for the brown one. And then the rest of these were all made in Czechoslovakia. And now the names, of course, we know of some of those countries have changed. But these ones with the little fat cheeks made in Czechoslovakia, that was Royal Dux, D-U-X was the name of the country. The two little blue ones were made in Russia, porcelain. And the little gnomies here, the artist is from the Netherlands. The rest of these were made in Austria. This one happens to be made of meringue. So we put that in the little dome there so it was preserved maybe a little bit better. The ones on the bottom on the riser were made in Portugal. The two ends, the ends of each one, I thought, why are their eyes looking so different? And then we realized they're glass eyes, little glass eyes. And then the rest of them are made in Spain. And we didn't have room for Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. So Norway, Denmark, and Sweden are on the top shelf here, sharing room with Mexico. They've never complained that I've heard. Okay, this is interesting here, this little set from Mexico. We don't know exactly what the composition is. It's very different. It's some kind of early plastic or something. Anyhow, they show some of the old cultures of old Mexico, like Chapultepec and Toltec and so on and so forth. Then we have some Mexico, and then we have South American countries here, Peru and Ecuador and Colombia, Venezuela, Chile, and then some more Mexico. Then we have this little grouping here from India. And this little grouping, the stone and the beaded, are from Africa. And the beaded ones, the Zulu ladies, do the beading of these Indians, or the little figures, the little angels. And this is just a shelf of angels that are from all different kinds of little cheap ones, from 10 cents to some that are from an Italian nativity set and so forth. It's just a whole little bunch of angels. So that's kind of that group. And then I'd like to show you the 4 cases here as we walk around. And one more case after that, and we will be done. So are we ready to go ahead with this?
Yes.
Okay. These 4 cases, as you walk around, have been donated by Oprah Winfrey. And the story to that was that Cher was a guest on her show one day, and they were talking about angels, and Oprah made the comment, "I don't see black angels." Well, 6 months later, she had to say, "Please don't send any more angels. I have no place to put them. They're just being stored at Harpo Studios." So that happened to be just before we opened, and some people on our board got in touch with her people and said, "We are opening this angel museum in Beloit, and would she like to donate her angels? We would care for them." Well, and about 6 weeks after that, one time on her show, she had them all on shelves behind her, and she said, "All of these angels that you have sent to me are going to be boxed up and sent to the Angel Museum in Wisconsin." She didn't say Beloit. She had her chance there, but she didn't say it. So they've been very special for us, and all different kinds. Some of them you can see were made with love. Some of them were a figure that they painted to make it look like the black angels, and so on and so forth. So we're almost winding down. I think we will go then to our backlighted case. We have a little story about the backlighted case. We had asked in the very beginning of this project that they would make a backlighted case, because we knew we had a lot of stained glass and crystal to display, and that's how it needed to be displayed. Well, they had set the date for opening, and they didn't have time to make it before we opened originally, and then they kind of ran out of the extra money to do it. And my husband used to say, "I wish they'd get that backlighted case. I wish they'd get it." So when Lowell passed away in '03, I said, "We will use the memorial money and we will have a backlighted case." So this is the backlighted case, and Lowell is sitting there in the backlighted case. And I wanted to find just the right figure. So looked and looked, I found the figure. It didn't have wings and halo, but it had the right color clothes. He wore a lot of blue shirts. We always had to buy a shirt with a pocket so the glasses could go in it. And so I said to my friend, who has helped with the exhibits and so forth, I said, "Katie, you've got to make wings and halo for Lowell and color gray the hair and the eyebrows." So she says, "You get me the mold and I will do it." So she did it. So he's sitting here Glasses in the pocket, he's doing a crossword puzzle. He loved to do crossword puzzles. He has his cup of coffee with ice cream. He did not like hot coffee, so he drank, probably before they started all this coffee, elegant coffees and things, he was drinking ice cream in his coffee. Then he had a wonderful stamp collection, and he loved to play cards of any kind. He played duplicate bridge with the same group of men for 40 years. So I have arranged the cards for the King of Hearts, met the Queen of Diamonds. My birthday's in April. They had 2 children, 4 grandchildren, and now they're a family of 10 happy hearts. And now I have 6 great-grandchildren besides. So Lowell's sitting here in his backlighted case, and he's happy. So in the backlighted case, we have these 2 crystal here. These are baccarat from France. We have this group of 3 here, made in Sweden. All of the figures that you see with color inside of them, whether they're solid color or designed color. Those are all made in Italy. And then, of course, yay, we have something made in America. Fenton. The Fenton Company, the blue, and these little iridescent color and the gold are all made. So, also at home with our collection in one of our guest rooms, we had a cloud like this. It's chicken wire covered by fiber fill, and it makes a great way to display hanging angels. So I said, as long as we're doing this, let's make a new cloud and have it in a case so it'll keep clean. And so we have a display up there of hanging angels. That's the end of what I have to say, and if there are no questions, I'm just going to say have a safe trip home, and thank you so much for coming to Beloit to see the Angel Museum.